Good evening. I have been trying to make this video several times now. I think I'm gonna split it up into 2 or 3 parts because making it as one video won't succeed. This video I'm gonna talk about when I was living in Thailand. I was there during the tsunami. And I was living on the east coast of Thailand, and the tsunami struck the west coast. So you would say, well, it didn't have anything to do with me, but I felt it did have something to do with me. I was at work when we heard about it. I worked at the school, and my boss told me there had been a tsunami. We looked at some pictures, and well, then I had to go back to class. And every time in between classes during the day, I had a quick look at the computer at the news, and I could see it was scaled up more and more during the day. After work, after finished the last class, I went back home, and then, well, actually, my wife and I, we decided to call my parents in Denmark to tell them that we were all right. Not that, still we were living on the east coast, not near where the tsunami had struck, but I felt it was the right thing to do, and they were happy to hear. They had figured out they wouldn't have anything to do with us, but still they were happy that we called and said we were all right. Around 9 o'clock, my boss called me and told me that he had been asked by the local rescue service if he wanted to go with them to the west coast. He was a volunteer with the local rescue service. He was called and asked if he wanted to go with them to the west coast, and he called me if I wanted to go with him, because he would go there in his own car and see if he could go help in some way. So I say to him, I just needed to talk to my wife, and then I will get back to him. So 5 minutes later, I call him and tell him, yeah, let's go, I'm ready. My wife was, her reaction was kind of, if you feel you have to go, then go. If you feel it's the right thing to do, to go help, then sure you should go. At this time she couldn't go because she would have gone too, but we just had a daughter not too long ago, so she had to stay home with our daughter and look after her. So she told me I should just go ahead and call my boss back and tell him to come get me, and she told me to be careful. So off we went, and when we got over there, at first we didn't really see anything. We arrived to the temple where we were told to go, and that was a shock. When we rounded the wall into the temple yard, the entire temple yard was full of dead bodies. Men, women and children. They didn't have body bags, so they were just laid out on the ground. No tarps over them or anything, they were just lying there. I don't know how many, but I would say hundreds, maybe thousands. It was incredible. And honestly, I've never seen a dead person before, so it was quite a shock. Some people would ask me why I would go help in a place like that. It would be a grim experience, and well, I felt I had to do it. It was the thing. If I can help, I will. And I knew there was a lot of foreigners over there, a lot of Europeans. I speak Danish, Swedish, Norwegian and English, and a little bit of Thai, so I figured maybe at the hospital I could help translate for people, and between the doctors and the patients, the nurses and the patients. In Thailand they're not very good at English. Yeah, they are in the tourist areas, but in normal common man in Thailand they're not very good at English. So I figured, well, maybe I can help that way. It was a very, very tough experience. It was, I was over there for 5 days, and it was not very pleasant, that's for sure. But at the same time, it felt good to help. How could I help? Well, I could help, as I said before, translating for the patients, for the Europeans. I could help when people needed to go somewhere, if they needed to go to the bathroom or something, if they had injuries. You have to remember, the hospital was completely bogged down with people. It was more than twice as many patients in the hospital. There was 3, maybe 5 times as many patients as the hospital was made for. There was people everywhere. And there was not at all enough nurses, not at all enough doctors. So, and already before a disaster like this, in Thailand, in a public hospital in Thailand, the nurses are there to, well, I'm not sure, but looking after people who's in hospital is the job of the family. Helping them get food, helping them go to the bathroom and stuff like that. It's not the job of the nurses. They don't do that. I saw that when we had our daughter in a public hospital. So I knew that. So I figured, well, there will be something for me to do. And there was. There was a lot of things to do. Even just talking to people, you know, when people have been through something like a tsunami, a disaster like that, they need to talk about it. And, well, lend your ear. Lend your shoulder, not the least. Talking to people, letting them cry, letting them get their frustrations out. Yeah, you know. So, I spent 5 days trying to help as good as I could. I tried to help people find their relatives. One of the things we did was we took pictures of all the foreigners who were in the hospital, and we put those pictures on the wall outside the main entrance to the hospital. We put a sign over the pictures saying that if you see someone in these pictures, someone you know, then take the picture down and go for a walk around the hospital and ask for the person in the picture. Ask for the person, not the name. Show the nurse, show the pictures to the nurse, show the picture to the doctors, show the picture to everybody you meet. Because maybe someone's seen this person in the hospital and can tell you where the person is. If you go into the hospital and ask for a name, they don't have a clue. At that time, they didn't have a clue who was in the hospital. There were so many people there that they didn't have. You know, normally when you go to a hospital, you're registered and with name and everything, health insurance and all that. But here, it was chaos. They didn't know anyone. They didn't have time to register people. They didn't have staff to. So it was. You came in, they took care of the immediate needs, and then they put you on a mattress or a mat or something somewhere, and yeah, complete chaos. So a picture would be the best help, and it worked. Some people found each other, and I helped someone find each other, and yeah, it felt very good to help, sure did. But obviously, it's something which is in my brain, in my mind, I guess forever. And I've seen, and not least smelled, things over there that I wouldn't wish for my worst enemy if I had any. It's just the smell of death. It's horrible. It really is. And that will never leave my nose. It's if I drive down the road on a bicycle or I walk and there's a dead bird, I can smell it. I can smell it long before I see it. that smell just, yeah. But anyway, this is just an introduction. I will make videos where I talk about single people who made a special impression to me, special situations. I was trying to make this in one video, but it would get far too long. And also, I do get emotional when I speak of this. I hope you will watch the other videos from this. Thank you.